Thank you. Yes, my talk is, we're going into more illustrative and visual narrative things. The Anthropomass is a web essay or explainer that I created together with a group of scientists from the Weizmann Institute of Science. The main concept of the website is to explain or illustrate a scientific paper that was published in Nature magazine, in Nature journal in December 2020. Global human-made mass exceed all living biomass. That's the title of the article. The main argument that the researchers has found that, or calculated that the mass of all human material, human-made material has exceeded or suppressed the mass of natural materials in the world. And they have all kinds of diagrams and graphs in the paper that prove that and show how they came to this conclusion. And of course, we all love and appreciate this type of visualization. But my job was to take this and create visualization that would help explain this idea to the general public, to make it understandable and digestible in a way. And so I took this idea of trying to figure out what exactly is anthropomass and biomass, what is it made of, what is the basic concept of this whole thing. And when I thought about anthropomass, which is basically these man-made objects or man-manipulated objects, asphalt, metal, concrete, these materials that we use for our cities, for our lives, in opposition to natural materials, plants, animals, viruses, even bacteria. And what I came to the conclusion is that it's basically a comparison between two types of materials, two types of categories. So I saw the opportunity to have a visual metaphor with really basic shapes, with the artificial shape of the human-made mass, the anthropomass being a square with hard, sharp angles, and the natural organic materials with the circle. To that, I added a color coding, again, to even give it a more direct recognition. And on top of that, textures to create differentiations within the group, because the anthropomass, as I saw in the diagram, is composed of all kinds of materials. And that on its own already created a very clear and cool metaphor for different types of materials and how it's all piled up together. And I could take a diagram such as this and start to play with it and create it on a timeline, on an interactive timeline, that each scroll would expose or show the progression of the two masses. And the nice thing about this graphic language that started to be created is that it allowed us to keep accuracy. Like in the spreadsheet, this is a normalized quantities or masses that I could actually have in the, like this is actually 300 numbers. And it could even be more specific if I take a look in the group itself, like the actual, using the textures, I could have even better accuracy to represent the numbers in the spreadsheet. And I also leaned on the isotype system by Otto Neurath and Gerd Arndt to enrich this language and create more representations of life on Earth, natural and artificial. And this created a whole language on its own. And different metaphors could appear and be used. And yeah, and I want to take a look at the website itself. Just quickly go over it. Scrolling through, because we don't have a lot of time. Each scroll presents or exposes new information, different animations, like a progression of a week. Each day adds more. And a bit more explanation, because when I first read the article, I had a hard time understanding what exactly is Anthropomass and what exactly is biomass. So I thought this is a great opportunity to actually go into details on what each category means. And this is examples to just give more insight on what exactly it means. So for instance, the mass of metal that the Eiffel Tower is composed of is equal to 10,000, the mass of 10,000 white rhinoceroses in the world. And other examples, I won't go into all the details. You can check it out yourself. And then we reach the comparison part. The two masses in comparison. Each scroll gives you also a bit of context in different decades, different changes and shifts. And then we reach our time with the two masses being in balance, and with a prediction to what is about to happen in the coming 20 years, which should look something like this. And that's it. And I forgot to thank the group of scientists that I work with in the Weizmann Institute, Professor Ron Milo and Emily Al-Chacham and Ninon Bar-On. They did this together with me.
Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, thanks for the talk and the project. Was it harder to develop the graphic language, seeing as how depressing the topic is?
No, not so much. To be honest, I was asked about this several times, about like the implications of this project and what can we do about this. And I think my main challenge was to find the metaphors, just to find the language to talk about this subject. So I think I came from a more analytical approach than an emotional one, I think.
Any more? I have one. Do you check how it affects people, this kind of visualization? Does it, it arouse awareness or something?
Mostly I get, people ask me just, what can we do about this?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't think the aim of the project is to tell people what to do. And I think this is something that the researchers also stressed, that there's not necessarily something to do about this. Like, we live our life and it has effects. But specifically the project, I don't think it has any goals to, it's about knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much.